Okay, so Lisa is a #1 best-selling author of Girl Get Your Shit Together. And she also has this fabulous academy, Girl Get Your Shit Together Academy. Georgette is here. Georgette spent the weekend with Lisa.
Hey. Hi.
And Lisa does an amazing job with millennial women or any women going through a transition in their life about finding their purpose, how they want to live their life, and making sure the money is aligned with it. Okay. She was just featured on CNBC. She's been all over the media. Actually, I have your website up. I'll pull it up for them. Sure. And she's so good that we had a flyer here to New Jersey last month for our workshop together. So, Lisa, what do you have for us tonight?
Everything. Everything.
Awesome. We're going to soak it all in.
Awesome. Well, hello, good evening. I wish I was there with you in person. I'm going to figure out how to telecommute and get across the country. I see 3 of you. How many are in the room?
4.
And I'm on the Zoom call, so I'm hidden, but I'm here. I can see you.
Okay, great. But you're walking your dog.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, and I can't see anyone anymore now. Say something, Jess.
Hello.
Okay, you're back. You're back. It'll toggle. So if Dawn says something, it'll toggle back to Dawn.
Okay.
Anyway, Jess has been super gracious enough to allow me to spend about 30 minutes with you tonight. And who wasn't at the event that I was at that I hosted with Jess?
Just me.
Just Christine.
Okay, hi.
Hi.
Nice to see
Too
you.
bad I missed it. Now I'm jealous.
You'll get the request.
Yes.
All right.
Well, good news. I'll be back next year, so we'll get those dates as soon as possible. We'll be. I see my relationship with Jess as a lifelong relationship. So you didn't miss something that you can't scoop up another time, and I believe that I'll probably be back again at some point in your journey with Jess as well. Before I start, I'd love to have Georgette just give a soundbite or two, if you haven't already, about what it was that you learned about yourself. This Georgette spent 3 days with me. She just got home, and I missed you already. And I know I fell in love with Georgette, and I'm just so grateful to have spent the few days that I did with you. But if you wouldn't mind sharing a few words with the women about what it was that you were able to learn about yourself this weekend.
You know what? I think the weekend was really set up fabulously. There were 6 of us, and we spanned pretty much every decade from 20 to 60, and it was interesting to see that the similarity in the concerns and issues as well as triumphs. I was sitting there talking to a 20-year-old, and she had the same concerns and thoughts that I did at 53, and she was 26. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you've got such a long runway. I wish I was thinking about this then. Some of the things that I learned about myself, you know, there were a lot of different exercises that Lisa brought us through to kind of really delve into, I guess, on the high level, like what your purpose is and what you want to do. And I think for me, it's, I have a lot of work in aligning not only my passions, I'm going to call them passions. We didn't there, but really the passion is with your money goals as well as your, like, every goal you have, and to kind of look at, these are all the things that are important to me, but these are the top 3. I need to get to those top 3. I have a lot of work to do there, but I have a list of like 27 things that are important to me. So I think that those were some of my takeaways. I have a lot of things that are in process to kind of see, all right, you know, I feel like I really have a step up on and a clear vision of what my priorities are, and that is helping me to kind of formulate what my retirement's going to look like. Because working with Jess, I was targeting 55 to be my retirement. Not sure, and that was with the career that I had that I really didn't care for. Now being between jobs, it gives me the opportunity to kind of reflect and say, I was able to kind of identify a couple of skill sets that I really enjoyed about those jobs, and then maybe now I can start targeting those and things moving forward. So yeah, I think for me it was a really good weekend. I made some really great contacts. And one thing that I had told Lisa is I was the only person in the room that worked for corporate America.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah, which was like I expected all of them to be in various stages of their corporate life, but completely different. And that's what was so impactful about the similarities in our concerns, issues, goals, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Well, they say that the more inventive idea you have can make a job out of it.
Yeah.
And this is like a new trend supposedly for young people. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
Yeah.
you know, like look at Jessica here.
Mhm,
I
yeah.
guess it's something different. You know,
So I don't want to take up all your time, Lisa, but that's
Yeah.
basically, I'm still coming down off of the entire
Where
weekend.
where are you? Where is Lisa located then?
She's in Las Vegas.
Oh, Las Vegas.
I carry
Georgette took a risk.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of your journey, Georgette. But I believe for all of the women, you took a risk to say there's something more for me to learn, and that's personally why I do what I do. I am a lifelong learner, but I really believe that life is really about elevation. There's no end point. We're not racing to the finish line. And it's always about asking yourself, especially as you come to this next chapter in your life, whatever that is, about how do I elevate my life to the next level? How do I get to know myself better? How do I get to fall in love with my life even more? And the work that I do is just saying, hey, we can't divorce. You heard me say this while you were at the workshop. We can't divorce our relationship from money. There's no separation between our lives and our relationship with money. And as I was preparing for tonight, I was just thinking about how, pardon my language. Are you okay if I curse? You okay with that?
Go for
I
it.
already did, so.
Okay. So the thought of retiring for me is scary as shit.
Mhm.
It's scary. And I can't, and I'm 39. So, and I know I've got time, but I'm not using this time to really think about what is it like to not work, because I did that for just a few years. My life fell apart because I was so intimately connected. My sense of worth and identity was so intimately connected to my job, which I was very successful at. And then all of a sudden it was gone. So I had to do some really intentional work around what is my life? What is my purpose? What's important to me? Not working, because that was gone. That had been stripped away. And thinking about for you, when I thought about, okay, I get 30 minutes with you tonight, which I'm always grateful for however much time I get to spend with anyone, is what would be most valuable for you to think about as you go into retirement, because I'd like to think of it as like, this is your big hurrah. This is the big thing. This is what you have spent your entire lives working toward. And your relationship with money in and of itself changes, because now you're relying on the money you've been saving, which is even more amazing. And also, I think, complicated to answer some important questions. So let me just dive in. Does that support you? I see you writing down like different thoughts, right?
So Lisa, they all got a retirement card. Here you go, Rosemary.
Okay.
And I had them write 3 things, bucket list things for their retirement in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of them couldn't think of those things. So
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Yeah. You're like, shoot, there's a lot of pressure. And if you're like me, I've been an overachiever my entire life. I put a ton of pressure on myself, and not necessarily even others, pretty forgetting of others, but for whatever reason, I put a lot of pressure on myself to have things figured out. And that's just not always the case, which is why I love life coaching, because it's a place where you can come in a space where you can be, where I don't have answers for you. I just ask the right questions to pull them out of you and to give you space and give you grace and exercises and intentional, purposeful time so you can start to answer those questions for yourself. So I'm trying to share my screen, and for whatever reason, can you see it now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I have your chart pulled up on our big screen.
You have my chart, but I actually put together a presentation for you tonight.
Oh, okay.
Woo! Hang on just a minute. But for whatever reason, it's very multiple. Let me get one more time.
Just pull it up.
Come on, Zoom. Hang on with me just a second.
No problem.
Okay.
So Rosemary, write 3 bucket list items you want to do in the car. And on the envelope, write the things you want to be able to retire.
Can you see my screen, Jess?
On the
No.
envelope. You're gonna write.
Not yet.
No, just you still.
Just me. Okay, hang on.
Oh, good. So put them in.
One specific.
Put them on the card.
But they're not specific. That's not very specific.
Okay, this is just a card for you.
Okay.
So whatever type of goal or bucket list thing that you want to do, put it in the card.
Okay.
And on the envelope, you're going to address it to yourself and put the date you want to be able to retire.
On the front, the date,
On the envelope. Yep.
the date. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
Cool.
There we go.
Good?
Yes.
All right. So just to reframe and just to step back to where we were 3 weeks ago in New Jersey together in an amazing, beautiful room. Can you see me and my screen or just my screen?
Just your screen.
Okay, that's fine. I'll come back. So, we started with this question. And of course, everybody has different attachment to this conversation, to this question, but are you where you thought you'd be? I know for Georgette, the answer is no, because there was a life-altering choice that happened in her life. But are any of us really ever where we thought we would be at this point in our lives? So these are some questions to ask yourself and journal about. I love journaling and self-reflection, even to invite. So you're in this amazing tribe of women that Jess has created for you, but to pull a woman with you on this journey as like your buddy and have this conversation with her to say, am I where I thought I'd be? Yes or no? And how do you feel about that?
And do we take the time to think about where we want to be?
I don't know. I don't know if I take enough time to think about where I want to be because I'm busy in the hustle and bustle of life.
Yeah.
But I do know that I can reflect on things that I had planned 10 years ago. And I know, especially financially, absolutely not. I'm definitely not where I thought I would be at this point in my life at 39 years old. Right? And I'll send this to you so you can have this presentation too, Jess. You can share it out to your women.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. But you are here. The reason you've chosen to invest in yourselves and join the retirement club, show up tonight and do the work is that you are here. I believe at the end of the day, no matter what you say, I really believe in my heart of hearts, you're here to become the best version of yourself. And when we think about retirement, and of course, like I'm on CNBC Twitter all day long. I'm following what mass media is communicating about when it comes to retirement and money. And retirement sometimes can be overweighted on money.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, baby boomers, you haven't saved enough. We're in a savings crisis. We have debt, all these things. And those are hard things to face and look at. But that's really not what I believe we're on this planet to do, is to have $5 million stashed away for retirement. At the end of the day, that would be nice. But we're really here to be the best versions of ourselves, period. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. And so part of the work that we did this weekend with Georgette and I do with clients is to look at where are you making choices from your past. And again, these are all just questions. I can't answer them for you, but if you were to go home tonight really thinking, and I know Jess is here to pull those questions from you and get you thinking more strategically about the money you do have. But if you were to shore up the past and say, okay, the past is over, like I have what I have, I can't change anything that's come out of the past. It's done. And I came into the present. What do I have today? What do I have financially? What do I have materially? What do I have in relationship? What do I have today? And what's my vision moving forward? And if you aren't present to the conversation you're having in your life, a lot of times we are coming from the past. We're coming from regret. We're coming from remorse. We're coming from loss, things that we wish would have happened. And that's why I asked the question at the beginning is, are you happy with are you where you thought you would be at? If the answer is no, then you have to look at your past, and at some point, sooner than later, forgive yourself for whatever it is, choose it and stop resisting it so that you can get into the present today and start planning for your future in a vision, not just financially, but in what it is that you really want to have happen in your life, because it's never too late to start over. Ever, 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 ever. It's never too late to start over. What are you hearing me say? Because you can't see me. So what's coming across to you?
I think the big thing is shifting out of the past. I see a lot of women who get stuck in the past and what life has done to them, instead of moving forward out of that victim mode and to regaining the control over their life and their decisions.
Yeah.
Forgiving the past almost.
Forgiving, letting it go. That's a good point.
Yeah. Yep.
You need to forgive it to open up for new things.
Right. Right. So another activity, another opportunity for you tonight is to go home and be like, where am I still attached to my past? And how do I start letting that go so I can truly, honestly, authentically, presently love my life today and forward?
That's a good exercise.
Right? Got to forgive the ex-husband. You got to forgive the kids, or, whatever it is. So anyway, and you want to know, and my guess is with pretty clear certainty that the reason you're here tonight, the reason that you're in this club, the reason you're working with Jess is that you want to have clarity that you're taking the right action. And if we get too tied up in the money, then we just focus on the money. We just focus on making sure the numbers add up. But it's not just the right action with your money. It's the right action to live a fulfilled life. And I think that a lot of the financial world has it backwards, that we say you have to have the money to have the retirement. But I really believe it's about having the right vision for retirement and then using the money to back it up, or using the money to understand what the gap is so that you can make some clarifying decisions about the direction you're headed in your life, so that you can use these years as your best years, because 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, they can all be your best years regardless of your age. And I really believe that. So when it comes to retirement, here's my thought. Here's my thought, especially for those of you who might, and I don't know a lot about you other than Georgette, so I have to make some assumptions when I put these presentations together. But especially if you're still working, how many of you are still working? I can't see you, so just, is it?
Three, everybody but Christine.
Well, a little bit I work, right? So,
You do work a little, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're still working, and that's familiar to you. Much of your lives might still resemble your working lives as opposed to your retired lives. You haven't quite transitioned fully to your retirement years. And so a lot of that is still your comfort zone. And this is what I was referencing earlier this afternoon, is that you're in your comfort zone still, whether you realize it or not, and your comfort zone is earning money. Not to say that you won't earn in retirement, but it won't probably look what it looks like. It won't look like what it looks like today. Yes?
Yes.
So you're living in this comfort zone-ish. And for me, when I saw this picture, it clicked that retirement is this massive thing that's way outside your comfort zone. But it's also something you've been planning for a really long time, for the magic. that somehow there's a concept, a notion that there's magic in retirement, right?
Mm-hmm.
No matter who you're with. I mean, this is a very stereotypical picture of what retirement is supposed to look like. And this may not be your vision for retirement, but I believe that this is like... What?
That can be the cabana boy.
Yeah, it's a good starting point.
Yes. Yes, but this is like, mainstream America's picture of retirement, right? And so then it requires, that's like magical, but it also requires you to take a big leap of faith with your financial advisors right next to you saying, yeah, do it. You can do it. The money says you can do it. And then it's like, oh shit, now what? Now what? You don't have to answer this tonight. We don't know each other very well, but I know you're all getting to know each other, and you know Jess really well. And however I can be a supportive person to you in your lives today and otherwise, I'm here. But this is I think the question that many of us avoid answering. But it's also one of the most honest places where you can start to do really great work to get into a vision for retirement. By answering honestly, what are you afraid of? And again, in terms of journaling and forwarding this conversation, the more you can be honest about your fears, the more you can stop resisting them. Because like Georgette heard me say this over and over this weekend, what you resist persists. So if you're afraid of being homeless in retirement, or you're afraid of running out of money in retirement, or you're afraid of dying early in retirement, those are all the fears that hold us hostage to what it is that we really want. Make sense?
Yes.
Yep. And getting out of fear, many of you, we're all just programmed to be afraid in one way, shape, or another. But by getting out of fear, one of the best exercises we can do, which is why I know I'm here tonight and why Jess has some exercises lined up for you, is to, even though it's uncomfortable, even though you're afraid, to understand what it is that you really want, and then use the money that you have to align your choices with what it is you truly want, one step at a time. So to identify your ideal life, some of you are like, yep, that about sums it up. I want to be in the Maldives. I want to be in a remote location for the next 40 years. How do I make that happen, right? Like, let's make that happen tomorrow. And then your financial advisor is like, all right, well, let's figure out how much money can support that. Like, how do we reallocate your assets? All of those important things. But some of you, also any of you who might be watching this at this point, this is what retirement might look like for you in terms of what you really want to do in retirement.
Overwhelming amount of questions and decisions to make.
Right?
Too many.
Right. You're like, forget it. Let me just go.
I'll deal with that tomorrow.
Yeah. Let me just drink some wine tonight and forget about it and go to bed. Right. So this is a paradigm. Georgette saw this weekend, and when I did my own work in transformation, I had to really think about this. My mentor, her name's Sylvia. She's just an amazing woman. But we had this conversation multiple times in different training rooms that I was in, and this is the American way. And American marketing and American media does a great job of perpetuating this. But basically, they say, and you've bought into it to a certain extent, we all do to a certain extent, is we say, well, if I have this, and like really framework this into retirement, right? So what do you want to have in retirement? Well, I want to have this. I want to have a life partner. I want to have a lot of money. I want to have a house that's paid off potentially, or 2 homes, a vacation home, or somewhere warm that I can go to half of the year. I want to have a car that I can, that's reliable and I don't have to keep paying a car payment, all those things that we focus on having in life and retirement. And then if I had those things, I would go on vacation. I would quit my job. I would sleep. If I had a cozy home, I would sleep comfortably at night. I'd have family over. I would take road trips in my car. So if you have these things and you can do those things, and then ultimately you would be loving, free, joyful, adventurous. So it would require having those things to feel a certain way in retirement or in life in general. Does that connect with you?
Yep.
Have you experienced yourselves in this conversation before?
It's like everything we think we should be doing or should have or should save.
Mm-hmm.
I should have this size house because everyone tells me I should have this size house. Or that this type of income, I should have this luxury car or this type of vacation.
Yep. Yep. And financial advisors, quite honestly, don't do a great job of doing it otherwise either. I know I've sat in many financial advising meetings where they're like, okay, well, what do you need money for? Oh, remodel my house. Oh, take this vacation to have these things. I want money to have these things. And when we did this exercise, this was actually, Georgette, one of my biggest, like for me, a light bulb went off when we did this exercise this weekend. And so I'm going to have you do it for yourself tonight. Just grab a piece of paper. Do they have paper, Jess?
They do.
Cool. Okay. So if you were to flip it and really just think about for a minute the woman you want to be in retirement. So take a minute. I'll give you a minute. Is that okay, Jess?
Yeah.
And write down words that associate with who it is you actually want to be in retirement. So for example, I picture myself being generous, loving, healthy. Those are words, those are just 3 of many that I associate with retirement. So for yourself, write down the words that you associate strongly with who you want to be in retirement.
Relaxed.
Fully refreshed from a night's sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a mm-hmm.
Present. That would be
I want to be
present.
fun spirited. I want to just be the person that you call up and like, I'm there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
You
adventurous.
want to go on a girl's ship? Tell me where.
Yep. So take about another 30 seconds and write down your be words. Who do I want to be in retirement? Who do I want to be today? Why does it have to wait for retirement, right? All right, what do we have?
I can share.
Okay.
Active, adventurous, stress-free, relaxed, giving, healthy, present, free to do anything. That wasn't a word, but happy, peaceful, and joyful.
Awesome.
That's what I want to be.
Happy, peaceful, and joyful. Absolutely.
I want to be generous, loving, healthy, encouraging, relaxed, hospitable, helpful, caring, no pain, fun with family and friends, active, great wife and mom, and hopefully great grandma.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
I don't know, I cannot write so fast. Strong, independent, fun. I would like to stop worrying about what will be. I think I'm worried too much. And, to be generous towards my family, to have enough money to do some fun things for them. And of course, there's everything else, healthy, stress-free, that's kind of half and half at the moment. It's always work in progress. So,
Yeah. I love that. So free and independent are 2 words that are very strong for you. Anyone else want to share?
Yeah, I had healthy, adventurous, loving, relaxed, stress-free, present, and helpful.
I love that. I love that. So take another minute and think about, if I'm being this person, I wake up and I can be this person every single day for the rest of my life. What would you do as a result of being that person? What would you do? So list out all the things you would do if you woke up being that every day. 30 seconds. All right, what do you got? What do you got? What would you do if you woke up being that person every day?
Okay. For me, I would work out more, travel, meditate, volunteer, eat right, explore and do more of my hobbies, such as writing a book, photography, hiking, go to church more, spend more time with family and friends.
I love that, Georgette.
And I think whatever I want to do. That's it.
Mhm.
Have to.
Whatever I feel like,
Hey,
right?
anymore.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else?
I wrote that it's Dawn. I wrote that I would also do whatever I want. That I would share my gifts and talents and bring people together. And I thought about it, and those are things I pretty much do now. But the thing that I would do that I don't do now is not stress about money.
Yeah.
Do it
Yeah.
all without stressing.
Yep. I love that.
Everyone
Want to
shaking
share?
hands.
Okay. This is an exercise that you can go. I have my clients do vision boards based on this paradigm versus what you would have, because vision boards can be very materialistic. But let's take it to the next level then. So if you were being free and independent and you were waking up doing what you wanted to do every day, you were going to church, you were meditating, you were going to the gym, what would you have as a result of being and doing those things? So take a minute. What would you have in your life as a result?
They don't have to be tangible things, do they?
Nope, they don't. They can be anything. What would you have?
Okay.
30 more seconds. Okay, who wants to share?
Okay. I said I'd probably have more peace in my life. I'd have better relationships.
I put relationships too.
I would
Not
have
relationships.
a smaller house or a small house somewhere in nature.
Mm.
I'm not a city person, and I really wouldn't want a lot. And I just have good friends, but that's kind of the same as better relationships.
Yep.
And what I got.
I like those. Mine, I said freedom, health. I'll have my teeth. We were just talking about teeth, dental being a big issue. Security, fun, a community, and experiences.
I love it.
I think I would then always be happy and be able to give and share what I have.
And anyone else want to share, or was that everyone?
Well, I kind of went off in a million directions.
Yeah, that was good, Rosemary.
I just
You can write so fast. Gosh, I admire you.
well, it's just I just went in a million different directions, and
Pick 3.
boy, it goes. I don't want to just say the first one because that seems very, very like.
Okay, pick 3 random ones.
Well, I'd have a simple, organized home. Maybe even a house. I mean, this is dreaming stuff.
Sure.
I'd have the house redone, split one side to rent. Then we'd have all our new cars paid off because we'd never buy new cars. More time with relationships, teeth, health, fun with family. And then I would have the memories and the time to make scrapbooks that I love to do.
That you can live.
Yeah. Stuff like
Good.
that.
Very good.
Wow.
You're back.
I'm back. Just to say, and I have more to share, but when you come from a place like that and you think about the next chapter of your life, the material things and the things that we spend our whole lives dreaming about don't matter in the end. And all the things that your money can buy, at the end of the day, you've all said for yourselves what matters most today and in retirement. And it was simple, loving, kind, generous, family. You know, you did other than I don't remember your name, Christine, right?
Mm.
Other than you, we did this exercise of a dream vacation at Jess's workshop. And what matters in the end are our people and the people that we love. And that we use the money that we have in retirement to support us so that we can be present and healthy and spend the time with people that we love. It doesn't matter what we have, what we own. And so often we get caught up in, and do they matter? Yes, of course they matter. But if they don't support the real vision of your life, it's a fruitless conversation to have. So my invitation for you tonight is to shift the way that you're being about retirement. I'm not saying that you're not being like this anyway, but detached from material objects to make sure that you can be the woman that you were born to be at this stage in your life so that you have the freedom to be that woman. That's really what matters. That's really what matters. Yes?
Yes.
Very good.
Definitely.
So when you're being this woman, then you have quality friendships, you have quality relationships, you have memories. It's all those things that are what really matter. And just to take it a step further, there are some more questions that you can ask yourself. And again, Georgette and I just spent 3 days together, and I felt like it could have been 10 days together because it's always another layer. It's always about elevation, but I just wanted to support you tonight. And I know Jess is being generous with time, so I'll wrap it up. But she's going to send this to you. That here are some more questions that focus on who you're being about retirement, in retirement today, because life is today, life is now, life does not start when you retire. To make the connection of money, and you know it's important, but as you're making important choices with your money, think about that woman that you desire to be. So questions like, when you're dead, hello, we're all going to die. Sadly, it's true. But when you're on your deathbed, what's going to matter to you most about your life? It's about the things you just said. What regrets would you have? What are the causes that matter to you? So these are all really thought-provoking questions to get you even more close to your vision, not the having vision, like the having the stuff, the mansion, whatever that is, but really having a quality of life. And keep in mind that when you're thinking about investing right now, because that's probably heavily on your minds, making sure your money's working for you, making sure that you have enough money in retirement, there are 3 ways that we invest: time, people, and money. And in order to have, I believe, everything that you want in life, those 3 things must intimately align into a vision. So if your time is being spent not connected to your vision and your purpose, it's time to reevaluate and audit that and get coaching on how to make those important shifts. Like Jess was just saying about this woman who, she shared a story. She shared a story about a woman in her life who, and this is so many women that I have in my life and otherwise. And I did this myself. I waited for years and years and years to get a divorce. I didn't need to, but my connection with money and people was ill aligned. I was with someone that was not healthy for me. Why did I stay there? You know, it was a very financially not a destructive thing for me to do. So as you're making plans for your future and today, make sure these 3 things align. Where is your time not purposeful right now? Where can you be more efficient with your time? That leads into your vision for your life and today. And who were you born to be? If you've been a corporate woman or you've been working toward other people's missions, let's just make sure that today and tomorrow and in your future, everything aligns. And Dawn, I think you have a really great story where you're working in that direction. How will you wake up every day fulfilling your calling and your mission in life for the rest of your life? If you don't know, let's get you to know. That's what I really want for you. Let's get that solidified, and then your money choices can just align with that. So Jess has a wheel of life for you to work on tonight, and it's just a really great way of looking at all of the different areas of your life. I sent her the exercise for you to do either tonight or your own time, and I know that it helps you just really think about what's most important to me today, tomorrow, otherwise, and what's the gap. So if I rate myself on a scale of 1 to 10 in health at a 3, well, that doesn't really support a healthy, vibrant retirement. So what has to happen today in order for you to align choices so that you can have a happy, healthy retirement? Yes?
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's about elevation, ladies, and step by step, you've got this. So I know I'm sorry I went over, Jess.
Of course. We love you.
Okay, I love you too. You can find me through email for questions. Anytime you want to schedule a 15-minute call, please do so. I'd be happy to talk to you individually about whatever's going on. I know that I know a lot about money, but one of my strengths is really helping you align in your vision and your purpose. And let's get you a dream life because you deserve it and you've worked really hard for it. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Lisa.
Okay. Love you.
Love you too. Have a good night.
Bye.
Okay. Good? Do you guys want to take a quick break? Anyone need to use the restroom or anything?
Yes,
No?
I need to.
Okay. Do you know where it is, Christine?
I think I remember.
Okay. Yeah, just watch the board down there.
Answer my-
Okay. Dawn, are you back?
Yeah, I'm here.
We're walking in. Okay, cool.
No, I do have to take him out again though. He's got to every half hour I have to take him.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is recorded if you do need to step out. But yeah, Lisa led it perfectly into what we're going to talk about next, which I didn't even know she was doing this, so I drew my own, which was not very sloppy wheel. We'll go off of hers. But this is a great exercise to see where are we spending so much of our time. And what we were talking about earlier is career. Here's career. So you guys can draw this down. I'll send out this presentation out to everybody too, so you can color it in. But figure out, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the most time, where are you spending it? Career, maybe a little bit money, maybe you fit friends and family in on the weekends when you have an hour or two. And how much is missing, let's say like the personal growth. I started dedicating my lunch hours to personal growth. So I will journal, I'll meditate, I'll read a book. And it could just be 30 minutes, but it helps me so much with this stuff. Figuring out how am I growing? How can I help other people grow, especially when it relates to money and retirement or life transition. Home environment. You can do, I have some different ones. I have spiritual. No, I have spiritual. So if you don't want home environment, you can do spiritual. I have social.
So what are we putting on here? A scale of 1 to 10? Or
Yeah. Where are you spending your time?
Does it have to add up to something?
No,
Oh,
just
okay.
where, what do you
Okay.
think is occupied? Do you think your career is 80% of your time?
Got it.
And 10% family and friends, 10%
Okay, got it. Okay.
fun and leisure?
So it is 100%. We're trying to get to 100% of how we.
Yeah, there you go.
Got it.
And then think about now in your where you currently are. regardless of retirement, what shifts do you want to make now? And then bigger picture in retirement, because career is going to fall, or maybe it's still going to be a piece of your life, but it's not going to be the majority of it. So then where are you going to reallocate those times? Because healthy retirees have 3 to 4 core pursuits. Passion projects, hobbies, social things, activities, and they don't just pop up in retirement. We really have to think about them as we lead into retirement. That's what's going to help your transition into retirement. That's going to help you be able to retire to something instead of just running away from a bad job.
What are those 4 things?
Core pursuits. So it'd be like volunteering.
No, you said we do 4 things before we.
As a happy retirees have 3 to 4 core pursuits.
4 pursuits.
Mm-hmm.
And what are they?
Those could like passion projects, hobbies. It could be volunteering. It could be a side job, consulting, starting a business, crafting, which you brought up, visiting family. If you're a big foodie, it could be trying out different restaurants, going to cooking classes.
But it's dependent on the person. It could
Yes.
be throwing yourself into the church and volunteering, and getting more active there. Or it could be-
Chris should be here soon. Okay. And a big part of retirement is, how do you feel after a really good day at work? You're like, we got it all done. Or when are the times in your life where you feel really good about yourself? It's like you're being challenged, but in a really positive way. You're pushing yourself out of that comfort zone. You're just raising that standard for your work, with your family. I just had a really, really good day with my mom or my sister. Thinking and journaling, reflecting on those times will really help you with your core pursuits. Because the biggest thing is we want to have that feeling still in retirement after a really good day at work. Like if I have a really good meeting with you guys and I leave, like, yes, that was awesome. Like, Georgia, you're running off of that high from the weekend. Just like Elise was probably running off of the high. We need those highs in retirement. We need those times when we feel so good about ourselves. So think about the times when we feel challenged in a good way, in a positive way. And especially if you want to start a business or do some sort of work in retirement. Reflecting on even your day-to-day job, when are the times that I really enjoy it, that I feel really challenged, and I'm stressed, but like I'm more excited and anxious stress, right? So there are 2 types of stress. There are good stress and bad stress. We get fixated on the bad stress, and everything you read is no more stress, no more stress, stress-free life. We actually do need good stress in our life because that's what helps us become resilient. That's what helps us persevere through times. And that's what helps us to keep pushing ourselves. Okay. So this is a really good activity to keep going back to, especially now in retirement. What do you want to add to your life? And it shouldn't be all of this. You shouldn't feel like a well-rounded life. I need to dip into everything.
Oh, it would be nice.
It's more identifying what do you really, really care about. Is it your home? Or I hear people, they want to travel on retirement. Well, then do you really care that much about your home? Or do you want to shift yourself more to here? If you're never home, like people in the city, they don't care they have a small kitchen because they're always out. That doesn't matter to them. Okay. All right, good. So I want you to start writing down, let's write down 5 goals in retirement. Okay? 5 goals in retirement. And, so we're going to partner up to share. Okay. And when we do these goals, we want to think of, no, let's just do 3 goals. 5 might be too much. Okay. So this is the procedure for our goals. And this is kind of our journaling exercise that we're going to go back to almost each one of these. Write down 3 goals. And then we have to look at our, we call it our stretchy path. So similar to Lisa's thing, we have our comfort zone, right? I'm standing in my comfort zone, but everything I want is outside that window. How do I get there? Okay. And my coach, haha. We need to stretch ourselves out of it to get all the things that we want. It's kind of like a rubber band, right? You stretch so much and you let go and you snap yourself, right? My daughter did that one day. It's so painful that, yeah, she likes to like bite my hair ties and everything. It was too painful, so we don't want to do it again. we run back into our comfort zone. Instead of, what do we stretch ourselves a little bit each day? And you kind of wear on that rubber band more and more and more. So then when you let go, it doesn't snap back. That's what the goal is. I don't want to throw you guys out to the wolves and you're like, I don't know how to navigate this. But it's getting stretched with really clear intention. So that's why we need to have goals. They need to be, yes, we're going to have mindset goals, building the beliefs. But we also need to have something that we can kind of measure, that we can put a value on and see what steps do I need to take to get there. Lisa spoke about clarity over your path. What is your vision? So what are your 3 goals? How are you going to get stretchy to get them? So one goal in retirement might be get in better shape, get healthy. Okay, but I'm terrified of going to the gym. I don't feel like being judged. I won't know anybody. I'll look stupid on the machines. Okay, so how are you going to get stretchy? Go to a gym, sign up with a trainer. Thank you. Sign up with a trainer for them to show you. I want to do yoga. And this is like my mom. I want to do yoga, but I feel so stupid. And she was asking me, am I too old to wear these pants? I'm like, Mom, everyone wears the pants. It's fine. It's like the new wave of fashion is stretchy pants. I'm going to look weird. I'm not that flexible. How are you going to get stretchy? Because you want to do yoga. You don't want to live in your comfort zone, because we call it comfortable, but it's not really comfortable. We don't feel good staying in our comfort zone, but it's familiar. It's what's familiar to us. Kind of when we're talking about staying in a relationship too long. It's that familiarity. Knowing what to expect each time. So how are you going to get stretchy? You guys talk about that fear of running out of money. Right? So one of the goal is to retire with financial security. What does that look like? How are we going to stretch ourselves to get there? Coming to things like this, I'm sure this was all out of your comfort zone. What the heck is this thing Jess is putting me into? I don't really know what it's about. I guess I'll check it out. She seems excited about it. I'm going to try it out. That's getting stretchy, right? So you're all here tonight. You're all investing your time. You're investing in people. You're investing in yourselves. And you're investing in your money. Right? So we checked off all 3 of those for Lisa. And then her vision, right? It's really interesting because I had this written down way before she even presented. So we're on the same track. What is a vision? I just did, so our first club is ending, and I had them write down a letter to themselves of who they want to be in retirement. What does a person look like? What does a person feel like? What do they dress like? Who are they? So they can understand, who am I working towards? So what is your vision? Is it to be healthy and fit because you want to be with your grandkids more? Or because you want to be going on trips when you're 80 years old? Do you want to retire with that sense of financial security because you want to do all these things, but you don't want to be constantly checking in with me about what's going on with your money? And what is your why? That's kind of your why. So that you have to worry less about the money stuff, less about health issues later in life, so you can spend more time getting stretchy and going for your goals. So understanding what is your why is going to hold you accountable. It's going to keep you motivated when it seems like it's too much work, or say it's a winter night and you're supposed to be there. Oh, do I really want to go there? I want to sit on my comfy couch. My slippers feel really nice. It's going to be what's going to push you to get stretchy. Okay. And then we need to know the beliefs you need to have to get stretchy, to move it. Is it the belief that, yes, I can have a friggin' awesome retirement? Is it that I can make decisions and not have to flip-flop back and forth whether I can afford this or not? Is it the belief that, yes, you can trust yourself with your money and to not overspend? Is it to give yourself, build the belief that you have the freedom to spend your money how you want to, not how you should or how you think to? So what are the beliefs that you need to have to hit those goals? Okay? Go back to the first one. So let's take a minute, because this is all the lifestyle, right? After this, we're going to dive into the money, but if we don't know how we're going to live, how do we know how much money we're going to need to live? So many times we focus one way or the other. Oh, I have sucking away money, sucking away money, sucking away money. I don't know how you're going to live. I really don't know how much you're going to spend. And if you haven't planned out your lifestyle retirement, you're going to be bored. And what happens when we're bored? We spend money. Or we sit on the couch terrified to spend any money. It's one of those extremes. Or we focus only on the lifestyle. We really don't know if we have the money to back it up. So write down 3 goals. We'll give you guys a few minutes to get through this. And we'll give you until, I'll put 3 minutes down. Okay. And then we're going to partner up and share. Oh no.
That's awful. Showing up for her.
Does she have AAA?
Yeah, she's kind of the office. She called it 6.
All right, Dawn.
7:30.
Were you here for the goals?
Yeah, so the goals are what we did on our survey, right?
The goals are, yeah, they could be.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, they definitely could be.
And then I wrote 3 beliefs that I need. I didn't get the stretchy past. I didn't get that part. I was walking the dog.
Oh, okay. So it's about how are we going to get outside of our comfort zone to hit those goals.
Okay.
So like joining the club was outside of most of your comfort zone.
Okay.
Is that the stretchy?
Are we supposed to do all of them?
Yeah. Or you want to get fit, going to the gym intimidates you. So how are we going to get stretchy so that you can get fit? What is the way? Or alright. So now I want you guys to partner up. Dawn, I'll go with you.
Okay.
You each have a minute, so I'll put on a minute to go over maybe one of your goals. Talk about one of your goals to one another. You guys and you guys. Good? Okay, Dawn.
So one of my goals was to get into financial control was one of the ones that I listed. How to do that, getting stretchy. I obviously I need to join the retirement club, and one of the beliefs that I need that I feel like ties into this is that I need to hire to get me there. So
Yes.
is that what you mean, like beliefs?
Yeah. Can you repeat the belief?
The belief I said is that I need to have trust in the team that I hire to help me get there. Because
That's a very good
I
one.
don't have those skills, so I need to trust you, and I need to trust the investments that we do. I need to trust people higher to my weakness because I don't need to have all the skills. I just trust the people that I do hire to have those skills.
All right, switch to the other person to share. Those are really good beliefs. So allowing us to help guide you,
Yeah.
the beliefs, trusting yourself that you made the right decision for it. That's good.
Yeah, and the other one that I, having the stretchy goals, I think, some of what I've realized recently, I'm not a morning person, even though my name, I was named incorrectly, but I do think that getting up early, I find that my brain fires better in the morning. So even to get up early and to do certain things like that, that's a challenge for me. But it's one thing I'm working on with my sister right now because she's a morning person, I am a night person. And I've been trying to get up at 6 a.m. When I do feel more confident in whatever I'm doing, my choices and the things that I get more done. Like there's just a lot of things. So I feel like that's one of the ways that I'm getting out of my comfort zone because it does have so many benefits. And I don't know if that's what you meant by being stretchy.
No, that's good. I'm the same way. I want to sleep as much as I can, but then I feel crazed the whole day.
Yes, exactly. I feel like I'm always behind. And just getting up early makes me feel like I'm on top of things, and it's that simple. And just to reduce stress in that way, it's so simple, but it's it's something that's really hard for me right now. So I'm trying to do it. I'm getting there.
Okay. It's true. Yeah, I've started to add little, even if it's 5-10 minutes of just time to refocus every morning.
Yeah.
Figure out how I want to be that day. What do I need to get done? Really, really helps me too. So I'm with you
I
there.
started working with a personal trainer too because my back injury that I have a back injury that I've worked on well enough. Now I can start working out again, and it's amazing.
Oh, good.
Everything feel better. So just feeling strong again.
Good. That's
I know it's only
important.
been 3 times, but like I already feel better, so that's good.
Good. All right, ladies. Wrap up as we move forward from our now we kind of have an idea of our life, our lifestyle, what we're working towards. Oh, sorry. One thing Dawn and I were talking about, she wants to get up earlier every morning. I'm like that too, so we feel less crazed throughout the day, kind of getting stuff done. And
When you want to be in bed by 8.
I usually am in bed by 8:30. My husband knows that. But I like my sleep. I prioritize my sleep. But what's really interesting is it takes us 63 days to form a new habit
Wow.
in our life.
I always thought it was 21.
I heard
It's
21.
21 plus, what is that, 42 days.
Yeah.
So 21 days to make a habit, 42 days additionally to make it a long-term memory and part of our habit.
Okay.
So it really, so people they'll get stretchy for a few days, for a little bit, and they fall off. We need to commit for 63 days for us to feel a real impact in our lives.
Commit.
Wow.
So 63 days,
Okay.
Okay.
which seems crazy, but when you look at the grand scheme of it,
Yeah.
it's really not that long.
You're committed, you'll do it.
Yes. And when you go back and you remember your vision, your why statement every morning, why am I doing
You
this?
gotta see if every day you remember the why, then you won't even have to. It just comes to your brain.
And
you don't even
sometimes
have to think about it.
I put my whys on post-its all over my
I was gonna
computer.
say, that's why post-its are so great.
People put post-its on their mirrors.
Post it my why. That's perfect. My
So
why.
you see it every time.
Yeah.
And it's like picking up the phone, there's my post-it. Okay, I'm on the phone. Right? May 17th is our National Pink Fix Day, so our movement now is a national day. And this is so outside of my comfort zone. I'm like, I'm putting together this huge event. I'm getting professional women experts, women nonprofits, congresswomen. I'm like, I don't know how to talk to these women. It is
Yes,
so
you do.
out of my comfort zone. But I'm like, why am I doing this? To build this community, to build the support, so women know there is a place that they can go to that's safe, they can be vulnerable, that is built just for them. That's the message. That's why I have to keep doing it. Right? That's my why. Right? I wrote a letter to myself every time I don't want to look at the letter. This is why I'm doing this. Okay, so 63 days. Can we commit to that? Okay. So the big question I get for retirement now that we kind of know how we want to live, what we're working towards is how much is enough?
What's that magic number?
What's the magic number?
Which we all
So Chris, fortunately, she tried to come here. Somehow the door got locked again. She was late, left. I found her text a few minutes too late. So she's part of the club. We have another woman joining in May. And then we have another woman joining in July. She's going to be in Florida for 2 months. Okay, join when you get back. But the woman who's joining in May, she's like, is there a number? Should I be targeting a number? When we don't know our number or how much is enough, it's like shooting darts blindfolded. We have no idea what we're targeting, so we're going to suck everything we can away. Or we're going to do the opposite and not take anything because we have no idea what we're working towards. What is enough? That's why when we go back to goals, if you have any goals we can put a price tag on, a value on, a dream vacation, a dream house, that really helps to build into how much is enough. And what I like to do is we create a plan A, and then we have a plan B. I have one woman, she's like, my C plan is this, my D plan is this. D plan was just moving in to kids. How much is enough? So plan A is, let's go for it. What does that life look like? How much is it going to cost me each day to live? What are the big expenses? So when we look at it, we need to know what are the fixed expenses every day, every month. And then we're going to have the miscellaneous or the one-time things. Dream trip to Italy. I'm going to be gone for 2 months. Or I really want a place at the shore. What does that look like? So knowing exactly how you're going to live, what are you going to be spending, helps back into, well, how much is enough? Plan B is kind of, okay, plan A is going to be a stretch for us. And do I really want to live with that anxiety of it being a stretch? Plan B is, okay, how can I still feel fulfilled every day in my retirement? So maybe it's not, I don't live directly on the beach, I'm a few blocks off. Maybe I don't go to Italy for 2 months, I go for a few weeks, right? So we can still do it. We're not giving up on our dreams. We're not putting them on hold or on the back burner, but that we can still feel like we are living the retirement we've worked so hard for. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And what I love doing is, as we go into retirement, we have our expenses. How do we lower our expenses as much as we can leading into retirement so we have more money for the stuff we want to do? So how can we pay off our mortgage by retirement? If I'm coming up to retirement, let me buy a new car while I still have income so that when I retire, I don't have to take on a car payment or take cash out of my bank or cash out of my retirement account. House renovations. Do I need any house renovations before retirement? Debt. Getting debt paid off. How do we lower expenses as much as we can? Because it works for us in 2 ways. We're able to save more money, but it gets us living on a lower income. If we're lowering our expenses, then we're going to continue that through retirement. Instead of what I see, people get into that rat race of, once I earn an extra 20,000, I'll start saving. But what happens? Our income comes up, our expenses come right up. So you're going into retirement on this projectile with this standard of living, but do we really have the assets to sustain that standard of living? And then people come say, well, I don't want to sacrifice this. I've been living this way for so long. So going into it, how much is enough? Let's go into the expenses. How do we lower them? How do we up our savings? And a lot of the stuff that questions you guys have, we're really going to go into. The next one's health and long-term care. The following one is really about how do we make our money as efficient as we can, optimize what we're spending, where we're saving, how we're investing our money and stuff. That's my favorite one. I love that one. Okay. So we want to also look at our income. So you guys have your sheets. Where's my your sheet? Okay. So these are good because how much of my income is going to be taxed in retirement? What does that look like? Will it be taxed? I get that question too. Will my income in retirement be taxed? I've been paying taxes my whole life. Do I really have to keep paying it? So yeah, you do retire with a partner. Uncle Sam is your partner in retirement who gets a piece of your money each time you take money out. So these are the tax brackets. And on our webinar, we had Megan, who's an accountant. She would love to spend time with any of you. An hour consultation. She'll go into taxes, how to make your money more efficient, what to be on the lookout for taxes. Okay. Her information's up on the website under club bonuses. Okay. But tax brackets. So it's not like, say you're the 24% tax bracket. That doesn't mean all of your, if you earn 160,000, all of that money is taxed at 24%. It goes up slowly. So the first, see, if you're single, 0 to 9,700, that's taxed at 10%. Then the 9,700 to 39,000 is taxed at 12%. Then 39,000 to 84,000 is taxed at 22%.
Which income that refers to? Your Social Security and your investments?
Great question. Social Security is right now after this one. That's the next page. A part of your Social Security will get taxed, could get taxed. Any money from a traditional IRA or 401k, that will go into this income. Pension money will go into this income.
Is this on New Jersey rules or
Federal?
This is the federal.
Okay.
Yeah. New Jersey's gotten much better for retirees income. Pension money, W-2 money, any consulting, if you get paid as a 1099, that money is all income. Okay. So how much of Social Security will get taxed? So go to actually the third page. Calculating your Social Security income tax. Okay. So this is all figuring out how do I make my money as tax efficient as possible so I have more money left for fun stuff. Okay. And it does make a big difference when people are more intentional when they are creating their buckets for spending and retirement. Okay. So if you are, we'll do the married filer, we'll do actually other taxpayers. So if you earn $25,000 and that's it, your Social Security is tax-free. If you earn $25,000 to $34,000, up to half of your Social Security income will get added to your taxable income. Okay, does that make sense? So the tax isn't 50%. I know, they're basically taxing the tax.
25,001.
Mm-hmm.
Half of that 25 becomes taxable income.
no, half of the one? Right?
Yes. If you earn
So
more
the first
than
25 are
Is tax-free.
tax-free,
mm-hmm.
and then 2501 to 34
So
would
if
be.
It's like a
if
bracket.
you had 25,001, then it would be half of the one.
Mm-hmm.
The amount, okay.
More than 34,000, up to 85% of it gets.
What if you're married, it's 32?
Yes. They give you a little bit more. So yeah, Rosemary in the first column. Okay.
85% of what your income is would be. At what rate?
Depending on your, that goes back to the
On the
tax bracket. To figure out.
Okay.
So that's a big piece when we're looking at when should you take your Social Security is, well, what is our tax rate? Can we be more efficient by taking money elsewhere and letting that ride, not tapping into it yet? Or would we rather take it from there and not say all your money's in a retirement plan, all of that money is going to get taxed? Okay, so that's something that we look at when we're deciding that, making that decision. But now you can go into it understanding what are the variables that are going to help me make the right decision for me. Okay. Now, if we skipped over this page, which is just the second page, so a lot of people don't realize is that if you take Social Security before your full retirement age, that shows up as FRA on your statement. It's probably between 66 and 67 for you guys. Okay. If you take it earlier, so you take it at 62, they might reduce your benefit. So if you earn more than $17,040, they'll reduce it by half. Okay. So if you're supposed to get $10,000 from Social Security, it'll be $5,000. And then the year you hit your full retirement age, if you earn more than $45,360, they'll reduce it by a third. The month you hit full retirement age, they start to pay you back those benefits. They're not completely gone. They bump up your pay a little bit. But that's something people forget about.
And if you work till 70, it exponentially increases a lot.
It does more than double.
Yeah.
If, though, you,
What about
you understand it? What?
No,
No, I'm just,
But if you do.
I'm sorry, but I'm not finished. So what I'm saying is, if, that's my question, is if you do 40 hours a week, that would be exponentially more. What if you only work 24 hours a week?
It doesn't matter how many
Does-
hours.
It doesn't matter the hours?
No.
They'll take your highest 35 years of wages.
Your highest 35 years? Oh,
To
I see.
figure out your Social
So
Security.
if in 4 years when I'm supposed to, if I just go part-time, I can still, up till 70, I can still get the full 70-year-old.
Yes.
Oh, that's good news.
Mhm.
Because I thought that they would,
Because I never knew he was 70 gross.
yes. It's,
Yeah, it can go. And
mine is like, instead of like 1,600, it's like 2,400, like
Yeah.
$800 a month more,
each year you wait, it grows by about 8%,
8%.
is what it is. Yeah.
But that's good news that if you can work part-time.
Well, you cannot make like 70. Well, I
So
guess depending.
That's another thing when
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
retire earlier than their full retirement age. We always say maybe wait to take Social Security till you see if you are going to work part-time. And how much income are you going to make part-time? How long do you think you'll be working
Right.
before you commit to this?
Right.
And then you get a reduced amount anyway.
All right.
So that's another thing that we look at.
Right.
Should you take it now? Because we want to look at, one, what is your income?
Mhm.
What other sources of income do we have? What are the markets doing? If the markets are crazy, they're not doing well, maybe we want to take the security instead of taking money out as they're going down. We want to look at your health, right? Your living situation. What are your expenses? How much do you need to live on? So all these different factors we want to look at before we do. Everyone's told me to take it at 62, so I'm taking it at 62. We want to see what's really going to work well for you.
Mhm.
I guess I'll find out in September.
In September.
She told me to go to the office. But so it's confusing to me though, and I don't remember that you can make, let's say, 17,000 before 66, like my retirement age is. I guess my full retirement is 66, but you can collect Social Security at 65.
Yes.
So do they count the 17,000 from 65 or from 66? That's what I wasn't sure. I guess I don't know.
They count it when you're making it, which if you're saying if you call it 65, then you have the income. When it comes time to get it, they take out, right?
Yeah, so they're going to look at it after your full year of taking Social Security to see how much income did you make. And they'll affect your benefits going
But
forward.
is it at age 65 or 66, which is the proper retirement age for, I guess, most of us here, right?
67.
You're
Everyone's
67?
different.
Like you so
Depends.
young.
It depends on the year you're born.
I'm 66.
Okay, so yours is 66.
So,
you-
so I wasn't sure that if the 17,000 you can make it when you are 66 or when you're 65. Because
Once you hit
collect
66, you can earn any type of income, and it won't affect it. Yeah, it won't affect it. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right. So then we talk about the last page is our buckets. So I'm very big on always having a place to put your money. Always having a purpose for your place. So people who are coming up to retirement and are still saving money, we have different buckets. So if we haven't had this meeting yet, Dawn and I are doing this meeting coming up. We'll do this meeting. Rosemary, we're doing this meeting in a little bit. We did our estate planning meeting, but this is something that could benefit.
Well, what you're saying is, we're gonna be doing this with Charlie.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because I was wondering, like, a lot of these questions are coming up. Oh, yeah, I would love the beach thing. That's my goal.
Yeah,
My
sure.
husband is melanoma, not so much. You know, so.
Nice umbrella.
That's what I say, I'll slap
It's
you.
Cabana.
I'll wash you with lotion. He's like, no, no.
I'm confused by the buckets.
Yes. So we're gonna go into, this is gonna be the savings model, and then we're gonna flip it to when you're taking money out.
Okay.
Does that work?
This is the savings model,
Yes.
and then you can flip it on the other side. So,
Yeah,
okay.
on here.
Um,
So you can take notes on that, that's fine.
Okay.
So we have our cash flow bucket. Money comes in, our expenses get paid. Pretty simple, right? Now these are the traditional ones that I teach, but every time it's customized to what your goals are. Okay. Then I have 1 year money. So 1 year money, and this is outside of an emergency fund. We still need to have an emergency fund. But this is something that I like to save into, and that money needs to get spent that year. And it's on a trip, on a car, something for the house, something to reward yourself for all the work you're doing. And it's not, you're not going to be saving a ton of money into it, just a few percentage of your pay. But it's something that you can enjoy, or you and your husband can enjoy together. Because I see people on two ends of the spectrum. They're very impulsive spending their money. They don't think through what they're spending their money on. I don't think anyone here is actually impulsive. But it helps. I'm working with a woman. She lost her fiance and her dad within 6 weeks of each other. So this made her very impulsive whenever she would spend money, because she always felt, well, I don't know if I have tomorrow. Well, that's good in moderation, because it also got her into a very deep hole spending her money. And she likes to avoid that hole. Another issue. But they become very impulsive. They don't think through it, and then they end up with a lot of debt or not a lot of savings, or this lifestyle that is so high that it's impossible to maintain in retirement. On the other hand, we have people who feel very guilty spending any type of money. So they hoard money in their bank account just in case something were to happen, or they don't know how much is enough for retirement. So they're like, I'm just gonna save and save and save and save. Because they're right, you're shooting darts blind. You don't know how much is gonna be enough. And some people, it's physical nausea to spend any type of money. But then you're always living for tomorrow, right? It's like one camp, I'm living for today. Another camp, tomorrow, I'll do tomorrow. But then you're just pushing off the things that you want to do, which gets us right back into, oh, well, I'll just focus my time and energy here because that's where the money's coming from. Okay, so this helps with both of those. The impulsive people, it helps to rein them in and think through, okay, what is it that I really want to work towards this year? The other people, it gives them the freedom to spend that money without feeling like they're sabotaging or jeopardizing their retirement money. Does that make sense?
Is that like a Christmas club?
It could be, yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, so something you put in from your paycheck each month.
okay.
I like to say it's like 1 to 5% of your pay.
How much?
1 to 5%.
Okay.
Bucket 3 is, I call it non-retirement money. It's money that's invested. And the reason I like it is because it's basically earning its own salary for you. And that helps people with the belief that it's not all on me to earn the money. It's not all on me to, if something happens to my job or I'm in transition between jobs, I have money that's earning money, so I'm okay. It's going to be okay. I can take some of that money if I need to live off of it, some of that income, like a retirement. I'll need to live on it. But it's earning its own wages. It's accessible if you need it, but it's there doing its job. Okay? And that I like to put, 5 to 10% in. And then the last bucket is our retirement money. And that should be the last 10 to 20%. Depending on how far away are you from that, how much is enough. How much do we need to jumpstart our retirement savings? Okay. Now, we don't all of a sudden throw everything into all these savings account. We have nothing left for cash flow because I'm like, I gotta take it all out, and it falls flat. So when I say we start small, we start 1% each month. The next month, can we raise it to 2%? Can we raise it to 3%? We slowly build on it. We don't want to, right? It's like the rubber band. You get too stretchy, it scares you, freaks you out. I'm done with it. We want to progress slowly. All right, it's almost 7:30. Is everybody cool with time? We're kind of wrapping up. Is this helpful for you guys? Okay. Now on the other side, we have retirement, which is what I put down here. So you're gonna have money in different places coming into retirement, right? And we have different buckets, right? We have 1 to 3 year bucket. Then we have 3 to 10 year, 10 to 20 year. And all of these should be invested a different way. 1 to 3 year, we want it to be very, very conservative. 1 year money should just be money that's in the bank account. And they don't think. This is more important. Okay. Because everyone's fear is, here's the market, I retire, and it falls out. So if you know you have first 3 years of retirement money and a very steady thing, that helps with this fear. That make sense? Would that help you guys? Knowing where your money's coming from and knowing it's going to be there tomorrow, regardless of what happens in the markets or in politics or any of that.
All right, so the 1 to 3 years is kind of immune to market
volatility.
Okay.
3 to 10 year, we might take on a little bit of risk, and by risk I mean stocks. We might add a little bit of stocks to it because inflation is 3%. Healthcare inflation is 5%.
That will kill us all.
So we need something that's going to earn some money for us. Otherwise, we're going to lose money. So yes, this money, especially 1 year money, should be in the bank, and I'm okay with it being in the bank, even though inflation's 3% and you're not going to earn anything on it, or you may earn 1%. So if you earn 1%, inflation's 3%, what's your return? -2. But you still have to pay taxes on that little percent that you made, so it's really worth the -2%. Okay. This is what we talk about in that one section. What are the things working for us and what's working against us? So this is kind of the warm-up, so you get the idea of where we're going with that. So 3 to 10 year money, it's going to be something kind of balanced. Some stocks, some bonds. That's supposed to be balanced. It's going to be income-driven investment. So what's an income-driven investment? A bond. A bond's like a CD, it pays income. What about dividend-paying stocks?
I'm sorry. Could you slow down?
Oh,
In terms of this
I know, it's a lot.
income-driven
Income-driven
investment, like you said CDs.
bonds. Bonds are like CDs. So you put in a certain amount of money, put in $1,000. It will pay you 5% each year, and at the end of 5 years, it'll give you back $1,000.
Oh.
It's very similar to a CD. Don't worry, we're going to go into this more for you. Okay. Dividend-paying stocks, right? Disney has a dividend coming out. They're going to pay anybody who owns their share. Things like that. So when people work with me, this is what we go into on a one-on-one basis. We look at how do we make sure your money is aligned with this. Okay, so that is as efficient as possible so that you aren't susceptible to crazy markets, you aren't paying too much in taxes, right? We're being as efficient as we can. Okay. And then 10 to 20-year money. This is a real thing that we want to make sure we keep up with. You said, Christine, the healthcare inflation is going to kill us all. That's why we need to make sure, all right, this money is invested properly so that it keeps up with this. Because we have 5% for basic healthcare costs, but next section we're going to talk about long-term care costs and what those look like. And there's so many different ways that we can prepare for them now. Okay, some really cool things. So we have our different buckets. And on here, I started to outline them, right? We have our bank account money, which will be our 1-year money. Right below that, we have our reserve bank money, or years 2 and 3, something conservative. Bucket 3 is going to be this one. And bucket 4 is going to be this one, pretty much. Okay. So what you guys can do tonight, or when you get a chance, is write down what is your assets for each bucket. What are your assets in your bank account, your reserves, and non-retirement money, your retirement money.
So 1 to 3 is bank account?
Yes.
And reserve is 1 to 3?
Yeah, the first one is like 1-year money.
1 year, and then the second one is 1 to 3.
Yeah.
2 to 3.
Yeah, you did
2
2
to
to 3.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
All right.
So we have to make a list of all of those things.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. I'm already nervous.
Don't be nervous.
You are too, Andrea.
I will think about.
Okay. No, it's going to help you make, I want to say, empowered decisions, right? So that you know, okay, I'm doing the right things with my money, or this is how much, like you said, how much does this amount, lump sum of money mean to me each day?
Now, is there a, let's say you do have that $10.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a good formula of what percentage of your student should be in each one of these buckets? You know what I mean? Like, is there a standard formula?
There isn't a standard one. I like to have a mixture, because some people have all their money in retirement accounts, and that's just going to be a lot of taxes for them.
Right.
So to have a mixture, which goes back to where we're saving. So I do this on purpose with the end in mind, right? We want to not pay so much in taxes when we're retired. It's easier to pay taxes now when we're working, even though we keep paying taxes now. But it's much better. So that's why we have a nice mix of non-retirement money. The bulk of it's still going to be retirement because it's going to be efficient now. But to have some money that's accessible, that's there. For instance, you have a big trip coming up and the markets go down. Okay, well, we can take money elsewhere so we're not selling things at a loss or while things are down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why we like to have a mixture of it. But everyone's going to be a little bit different.
Sure.
So I have one woman, she is going to retire next year. She is keen on buying a place in St. Lucia, but she doesn't have much equity in her house right now. And getting a loan overseas is very hard, very high interest rate. So for her, I keep emphasizing put less money in your traditional 401k, which is going to sound crazy, put less money into that. She has a Roth option, so I said put all the money into the Roth option, because when she takes the money out, remember the tax bracket? So if she needs to buy a $300,000 house, and she has to take $300,000 out of her 401k, she's going to be paying the most in taxes. So let's sock away as much as we can outside of that taxable type account. That makes sense? Okay. So what I want you guys to think about is what type of buckets are going to work for your life, and then when we do one-on-ones, we can review them to see. So I have this one woman. I think so. I call her Aunt Dee Dee. So Aunt Dee Dee came to talk to me because you guys would appreciate this. What should I do with my IRA? She had some money saved up. She had about 10 years to retirement, and her health was an issue. So she knew she couldn't retire past 10 years. She needed to take care of herself now. But what happened is Aunt Dee Dee had a belief that because she earned more than her siblings and her nieces and nephews, whenever they needed help, she had to bail them out. Okay? So all of her money was going to go into just one account. So imagine just going all into the cash flow account. And she was working so hard to build it up so that she could pay off her debt from the health care costs. Also, her own house was falling apart. She needed to put money into it. She needed a car. But whenever she got it to a certain amount to start the renovation, the kids would call, Aunt Dee Dee, I need money. Aunt Dee Dee, I would need money. And whoosh, it was all gone. So we had to start separating her money to her better. So she had an Aunt Dee Dee account. She had a house renovation account. She had her health account. And she would dribble into each account each paycheck. So when the kids would call and the Aunt Dee Dee account wasn't too high yet, what do you think she said? No, not yet. Ask me again later. And what do you think is going to happen if she says no every once in a while? Well, nobody likes rejection, so they're going to stop calling, or they're hopefully starting to think things through. I think the one totaled their car like 3 times. Like, okay, it's not your problem anymore, Aunt Dee Dee. And she's using her Aunt Dee Dee money to travel with them. So instead of just gifting the money constantly, it's more, let's do something together to enjoy. Okay? So let's figure out what are your buckets, going back to your goals, right? What are the goals that I need to do, and can I set up some buckets, some saving buckets to hit those goals now so we can enjoy our money now and then through retirement. Okay? Is that some food for thought?
Yeah. Exhausting.
I know. I don't want to overwhelm you guys. I probably, like Lisa said, she could keep you there for 10 days. I could do the same thing and keep going on. What I want to give you, digestible pieces. And the way I want this to go is when we take in a lot of information, it's kind of overload and our brain's like, no, enough. I want it to be digestible pieces and then have you guys write it down, work on it, and then to discuss, because that's the best way for it to get into our long-term thinking. Instead of this just being information thrown at you and then forgotten. I want it to sink in so that you really understand it, you build it, and stuff. And I'll just end with, I talk about this in my book, why I started the club, what the missing pieces were. And it really came from, like you do, we've been clients for years and years and years, and we'd always show them, the goal plan and stuff. But you guys are like, really? Are you sure? Let's run the numbers again. And I think it came from not understanding it.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we put in all these inputs, and then this chart shows up. Like, how does that happen? So I think it's to understand.
Can we run it for the thing? Can we run it for that?
Yeah.
That is right.
And we don't understand it because we don't have the education for it. It's not taught.
Looks good, right?
Yeah. We don't have the education on how do all these components work together, right? We just went over Social Security, taxes, buckets, investments, stocks, funds. So it's taking that step back and seeing how does it all work together. And we're going to go into that more with the next section. But because we don't understand it or have the education, we don't believe it. So we don't have the beliefs behind it. And when we don't have the beliefs,
We worry.
we don't have the trust. We don't have the trust. And it's probably not even the trust in me, it's the trust in ourselves. Right? Like when I went to work with my business coach, like she has a proven system. She has amazing results. She has testimonials. I'm reading testimonials and it was like your plan. I'm like, I don't believe this. One woman worked with her, she started making $6 million. I'm like, what? You're leaving. Like, is she gonna give me this stuff and I'm not gonna do it? Or do I not have the trust in myself to put it to action and go out there and actually implement it?
And that's getting outside of your comfort zone.
Is it getting outside of our comfort zone? So it's finding the trust because almost all of your guys' fears, and I'm going through the surveys, what we're talking about before the club was running out of money, becoming a burden. So it's building the trust that you can retire and not have those fears lingering around every corner and haunting us the entire time. I think that's what the goal is, to retire and not have to worry about this stuff. So that's what it is. Right now we're getting the education. Hopefully we're starting to understand it. We're going to be building the beliefs the whole way, be planting seeds in your head and building the trust. So stuff that we talk about tonight will come back in the next time throughout the club. Okay. So I know this is a lot. I feel like we threw at you, but it's a lot of reflecting. But that's like when I say let's journal it out, talk to one another about it. It's going to help it sink in even more. Okay. So does anybody have for 1 year money an idea of what they would want to spend that money on?
A 1 year travel.
For the 1 year? Oh, God. I guess if my situation would just stay as it is, it's going to be car payment, my Cobra, and travel.
And travel.
Those are that's what a want and 2 needs.
Good. So write down for your 1 year money the want, the travel.
Okay.
Add that to it.
Jess, I'm sorry, I have to go, but thank you so much.
Bye, Dawn. We'll talk soon.
Yes, take care.
Okay. It's just